Good morning, my dear students. I'm so glad that I meet you in the final episode of Chapter 7, Weather, Climate and Adaptations of Animals to Climate. We have learned this lesson in almost 3 classes, which includes Class 1, where we learned about weather and the climate, and Class 2, where we learned about the adaptations of animals to climate, and previous class where we learned about 2 important climates, namely hot and dry climate and hot and wet climate, that is deserts and tropical rainforest. And one more to go, that is polar regions, where you come across freezing temperature. I hope you all are completing your assignments regularly. So repeatedly we are insisting on this, because when you fail to do your duties, it is a great issue of your life. So the works that are given to you, either by your parents or by your teachers, they are just to mold you, to modify you into a better human being and a better leader of tomorrow's nation. I hope you understand. So without hard work no one achieves. Without hard work no one gets success. Keep this in mind and try to be sincere, hardworking, punctual, etc. That makes you a great leader of tomorrow's nation, or tomorrow's future, or tomorrow's world. Okay. So with this, let us have a fast recap of what you have learned last class, and then we'll enter into polar regions. In hot and dry climate, we learned various factors, that is how the animals adapt themselves to that kind of hot and dry climate, that is a desert. We come across certain animals which burrow and live under the soil to maintain the body temperature. We come across animals that excrete a concentrated urine. We also come across certain animals which camouflage themselves and hunt their prey. And we also come across certain animals like camels which store fat inside their body, especially with regard to camels in their hump, such that actually we don't come across food and water easily in a desert. So in that case they have to conserve, they have to store, and in that way these animals they store fat in their body. And apart from all this, there are animals in deserts which undergo summer sleep, that is aestivation. Okay, so these are the various adaptations we have seen in hot and dry climate. Whereas in tropical rainforests, we come across various different types of animals which adapt themselves based on that climate, because you come across more vegetation in these places because of heavy rain, and based on that the animals they adapt themselves in different ways. Each and every animal has their own way. For example, with related to monkeys or sloths, they stay in the trees to avoid predators which are in the ground. And we come across toucan, which has a large beak such that it can get the fruit from far, from where they sit. Then we come across various animals like jaguars, capybara and other animals. They have their own way of adapting towards the this kind of climate. With related to this word camouflage, that is hiding themselves with their environment, we come across various different animals, especially mammals. They have an important characteristics of this camouflage. So mammals are none other than animals which give birth to young ones and feed the young ones with the milk. So they are called as mammals because they have this mammary gland, or milk secreting or milk producing gland, and because of that they are known as mammals. So mammals have various characteristics. For example, one mammal, they have heterodont dentition. Then mammals, they have epidermal hairs on their body. Then mammals, they have a constant body temperature. Like that we can list out various characteristics of mammals, and one among that is most of the mammals have this camouflage, whereby they can hide in their surroundings or in their habitat. So this is an important character, one of the important characteristics of a mammal. So because we learned last class about this term, this concept, that's what I just want to try to explain. Okay, so that is in case of jaguars or in case of camels, where you come across a skin and fur which coincides with the color of the habitat, of their habitat. So not only jaguar, even lion, tiger. So there are different kinds of animals which whose skin or fur coincides. I hope this kind of hiding themselves in the surrounding is actually known as camouflage. And there are also certain animals, they are more modified in such a way, they appear like a leaf, or they appear like a bark of a tree, or they appear like a stick. So there are different animals. I'm just showing a small clipping of these animals, whereby you can understand how this camouflage actually working out in their surroundings. Okay, right. So in that way, what we are going to learn even in the topic polar regions, where you come across those animals have white fur, so which is because of this hiding themselves, that is camouflage. Okay, so this animals have white fur which coincides with the snow that is found in this polar regions. Okay, so animals like polar bears, Arctic fox, Arctic hares, they have this characteristics of white fur, so they camouflage with the environment. So this camouflaging helps them in two ways: one, to hide themselves and hunt their prey, that is their food, and secondly, to hide themselves and escape from their predators. So in two ways, these white fur of these polar regions are helpful for these animals. Polar regions. Polar regions are characterized by extreme cold climate, that is freezing temperature, covered with snow. These regions are covered with snow, and because of that the temperature will be very cold here. The temperature here can be as low as -37 degrees Celsius. The sun rises for only 6 months, and for the other 6 months the sun does not rise, and that is the reason why freezing temperature is maintained in these regions. Polar regions include Arctic and Antarctic regions, that is North Pole and the South Pole. Animals living here in these cold areas, freezing temperature, they should have more adaptations like those animals that are found in the deserts, all to maintain their body temperature or to maintain the warmness of their body. In most animals, we can see two thick layers of fur and also a layer of fat under their skin. For example, in case of polar bears, wolves, fox, where you come across a thick fur, that is the hairs of these animals are known as fur, and also they have a layer of fat under their skin. So this fur along with the fat, they act as an insulator to maintain their body temperature. At the same time, they act as an insulator in avoiding the effect of the environment to their body. When an object conducts heat from one part towards the other part, it is known as a conductor, which you might have learned in lower classes. If an object does not conduct heat, then it is known as insulator, which is also known as bad conductor or poor conductor. So in that way, a metal, most of the metals can be said as an example of conductors, whereas sweaters or the wool that is used to make sweaters, that is wool is none other than the fur of animals, they are good examples of insulators. So because they maintain the heat, even our thermoflask can be said as an example of insulators, because they don't allow the heat from inside to go or radiate out. Similarly, they maintain such that the external environment doesn't affect the coffee or tea or water or juice that is found inside the thermoflask, and that is the significance of insulators. In that way, the fur of these animals, they help in maintaining their body temperature by not allowing the body temperature to be radiated out. These animals, they have one more specialty, that is which is actually the characteristics of mammals, that is their fur or their skin color which matches with their habitat. So I said it's the characteristics of most of the mammals. Either it may be in desert or tropical rainforest or polar regions. So you come across the skin or the fur matching with the habitat where they live. If it is tropical rainforest, so the color of the animal will be brown or green. If it is desert, the animal's skin color will be brownish in color, and if it is an animal in polar region, the skin will be white like a snow. This is to camouflage or to escape from their predators. So in that way, polar bears, Arctic hares, Arctic fox, then Arctic wolves, all these animals you can find their skin as well as fur white in color. Again I say this is just to escape from their surrounding. Polar bears, they are good swimmers. They have wide and large paws. Paw is none other than the foot of these animals are known as paws. So this paw helps in walking in snow as well as swimming in water, like how we saw the hoof of camels, which will be larger so that they easily walk in sand. Similarly, the paw of polar bears will be larger to swim as well as to walk in the snow. That is to swim in water as well as to walk in the snow. Polar bears have a strong sense of smell, which helps them to locate and catch its prey. Prey means food. Penguins. Penguins are white in color that help them to blend with their habitat, that is snow, like a polar bear. Penguins also have a thick skin and a thick layer of fat under the skin to protect from the cold. Penguins huddle together, that is they live together so closer, such that closeness, living together or huddling together, maintains their warmness. And these penguins, like a fish, they have streamlined body, that is their front anterior head region will be sharp, such that they can swim easily in water. And penguins are one of the birds that do not fly. Apart from these animals, there are many fishes, many mammals like beluga and orca, musk ox, reindeers like caribou reindeers, different kinds of seals, otters, walrus, moose, ermine, birds like snowy owl, bald eagle, Canada goose puffin can be found in these polar regions. Apart from this, there are also various birds that come here for migration. Basically, birds cannot withstand cold climate for long duration. So, most of the birds, they migrate to other warmer regions, other warmer countries or continents during winter season, and they come back after the winter is over. This is known as migration. One such important example is our Siberian crane, which is a good example of migratory bird that comes to Bharatpur in Rajasthan and Sultanpur in Haryana from Siberia. Siberia is a country found in Russia. So Russia is famous for freezing temperature. Like Europe, we have more snow and we have more snowfall and more freezing temperature in Russia. So to escape from that freezing temperature, Siberian crane moves from Russia to India, that is to Rajasthan and Siberia and Haryana, and after the winter season is over there, they return back to Siberia. These birds, they migrate here mainly for reproduction. Migration may also for food, in search of food, in search of temperature, warm temperature, in search of water, etc. There are certain birds which can fly up to 15,000 kilometers for escaping the extreme weather conditions. So this is one of a significant point with related to migration. Okay guys, our 7th lesson is over with these concepts. So as I said in the beginning, the whole lesson is very easy when you understand the concepts. So I hope you have concentrated on the whole lesson, all the concepts. So prepare well for the online tests and also go through the whole book so that you may have certain doubts which can be clarified later. And the more you go through the full lesson, the more you will be knowledgeable as well as intelligent. Keep this in mind. Assignment session. Form 3 headings, that is hot and dry climate, heading 2 tropical rainforest, and heading 3 polar region. And under these 3 headings, write all the animals that you know that are found in those climates. For example, under hot and dry climate, you write the animals like rats, snakes, salamanders, tortoises, camels, etc. Similarly, under tropical rainforest, we have discussed many examples. You can also search still more examples and write all those under tropical rainforest. And thirdly, under polar regions, animals like polar bear, Arctic hares, Arctic fox, Arctic wolves, whales like beluga and orca, musk ox, and various different birds that we have discussed as well as that we have seen, that you have found. Write all these animals under these 3 topics. Write the animal's name one below the other neatly. So like how you write points, one point after another, like that you write neatly in your notebook. This is your assignment. I think we are giving only simple assignments. So take some measures, take some time to plan and then execute these kinds of assignments. Okay. Thank you. God bless you. Write neatly the question answers. So let your notebook be neat and tidy with a margin. Write that day's, the day when your assignment is given. So for every assignment you write the day, and for every assignment you try to write the lesson number. For the first time you write the lesson name also. So if you are writing the same lesson for other assignments, you don't need to repeat, I suppose. Draw lines after each exercise or each answer. So keeping all this in mind, write neatly. Any day you will be asked to submit your notebooks. So be ready to submit your notebooks in a good mood. Not writing in the last minute and rushing through and just submitting for namesake. So whatever you do, let it not be for namesake. I hope you understand. Whether you eat something or whether you watch something or whether you do something, so let it be an experience for you. If you do for namesake, you don't learn anything from that. I hope you understand. Okay. So thank you. God bless you.